As is this one, Vergil Ortiz versus Israil Madrimov. Vergil Ortiz coming off that razor-thin win. Razor-thin against Boyshuk. Israil Madrimov was supposed to fight Boyshuk. Madrimov coming off, I thought, a really good performance against Terence Crawford.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this February's upcoming fight at 154 pounds between Vergil Ortiz and Israil Madrimov. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit the notification button and subscribe buttons? What this will allow me to do is every time I put a video out that's new, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you. Guys, we had an exciting weekend for the promotion of the sport this past weekend in London, the Ring Magazine Awards, and the very next day they also featured the Riyadh season February 22nd card in Riyadh, which that card is stacked. It's headlined by the rematch, much anticipated at light heavyweight for all of the belts between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. But if you go down the card, it is absolutely jam-packed with really exciting fights. In this video, we're gonna be featuring one of those fights, Vergil versus Madrimov, but you could pick any one of those fights on that card and you could feature them, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do over the next couple weeks. I wanna remind you guys though, this is not a prediction video. I will wait till fight week to tell you who I think is going to win between Vergil and Madrimov, but the rest of that card, you got the prospect Schofield versus the champion Shakur Stevenson. You got Big Bang Zhang is on that card. Exciting fighter Hamza Shiraz is fighting little talked about but dangerous champion Carlos Adames. Headliner heavyweight clash between Dynamite Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker. So all of these fights could be easily featured today, but like I said, stay tuned and we'll get to them in due time. Now, when we talk about Vergil and Madrimov, the 154-pound division is one of my favorite divisions. It's stacked with great fighters and great fights. This specific fight is a trajectory fight, not only for both guys' careers, but also the division. After this fight's over, we'll have more answers on what's next for that 154-pound division. Vergil Ortiz is coming off a very tough fight against Serhiy Bohacek. We live streamed that together on my channel, and I did a breakdown video before and after. I did pick Vergil to win. I did not predict him to get dropped multiple times. I had Vergil winning a close decision. I think I gave him 1 or 2 rounds, but it could have gone either way. There were a lot of people upset that Bohacek allegedly, quote unquote, got robbed. I didn't have it as a robbery, but as the chips fell into place, the winning fighter moves on, and that's Vergil. On the other hand, you have Israil Madrimov, who fought a really tough fight. He lost a unanimous decision to Bud Crawford in Crawford's first fight at 154. Once again, some of the naysayers said that Madrimov won. I had Bud 8-4 at least. But the thing about boxing, which I feel we're making proper adjustments, is that even though you're coming off a loss, it doesn't drop you to the bottom of the ladder, and we see this with Madrimov. And then as well with Vergil, even though he's coming off a victory, his naysayers are still doubting him because some people say that he lost. The guy who kind of gets lost in this shuffle, and I feel bad for him, is Bohacek. He initially was signed to fight Madrimov December 21st, but that fight got scrapped. If you guys remember a month or so ago, it was announced that Mads was gonna fight Bohacek in December and Vergil in Feb. Announced that I think he had a sickness, but whatever. The fight with Bohacek didn't happen, and now we have Vergil versus Madrimov. Both of these guys are in their prime. They're under 30 years old. It's gonna be exciting to watch the game plans of both fighters. We know Vergil has that classic Mexican style. He wants to stay there and trade. And we know Madrimov is super athletic. He could do both. In my opinion, I think the narrative is going to be, will Vergil be able to stop Madrimov's footwork? Will Madrimov be able to land his power shots on Ortiz? And then who will have the power advantage? All of these questions will be answered on fight night. It's hard to predict the power advantage until we see each guy take a shot.
I ran today and all that stuff. I did conditioning today. It's really the only thing I do all day, so if I'm not boxing and I'm just doing nothing, then I'm just existing. Yes, I'm very excited to show what I got to offer. You know, I've grown as a fighter and as a person.
Now let's take a closer look at Israil Madrimov. Madrimov is 10-1 with 7 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 70% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 4 in the world at 154 pounds. The Uzbek fighter is 29. He's an orthodox style fighter standing at 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. We last saw him fight Bud Crawford, who was 40-0. Mads lost UD in the 12th. Kurbanov 25-0, TKO in the 5th. Bokwe 16-3, UD in the 10th. Soro, that was a technical draw due to a cut in the 3rd round, and then he fought Soro the first time, knocked him out in the 9th. Guys, all you have to do is watch a little bit of Israil Madrimov's tape, his training. You'll see how athletic he is. He wants to use explosive movements to confuse his opponent, and we saw it with Bud Crawford. I wish he would have been a little bit more active and took a little bit more risks against Bud. A lot of his punch combos were kind of one and done, and he wasn't really staying there long enough to throw combos, but that comes down to he was fighting one of the greatest counterboxes of his generation. It'll be interesting to see the adjustments that Madrimov will make in his game plan against Vergil. Vergil is not the type of counterboxer Bud Crawford is, and he's not gonna move as much as Bud in terms of in and out of the pocket with his front foot. It's no secret Vergil wants to be in a firefight, and this is why his fans, myself included, are so excited every time Vergil Ortiz fights. Now let's take a closer look at Vergil. Guys, Ortiz is 22-0 with 21 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 95% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 3 in the world at 154 pounds. The American's only 26 years old. He's an orthodox fighter standing at 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. We last saw him fight Boacek, who was 24-1, majority decision in the 12th. Delorme, 26-6, knockout in the 1st. Lawson, 30-3, knockout in the 1st. McKinson, 22-0, knockout in the 9th. Mean Machine, 22-1, knockout in the 8th. Guys, going into the Boacek fight, the narrative on Ortiz was just a consummate knockout artist. He was 21-0 with 21 knockouts, but we know that is impossible to do over a career. It's impossible to think that a kid is gonna have a 100% knockout to win ratio every fight, especially as he fights better and better fighters. I feel the adjustments he's gonna have to make against Madrimov that he learned through his mistakes against Boacek is don't hang around so often. That's gonna be kind of an innate DNA entwined in a fighter, so we'll see if he'll be able to change that. What I mean by that is a guy is either a firefight gunslinger fighter or not. It's hard to teach that, and we know Vergil Ortiz was born to fight that way, so either he thinks that his chin will hold up with Madrimov or he'll make that adjustment and time will tell. We'll see who will have the power advantage. Like I said earlier, I can't predict that. It's tough for me to say one or the other without seeing them fight.
You know, we definitely had to change a few things, like for instance, I do recovery like 4 to 5 hours a day. You know, that's a lot of my time right there. You know, I spend like 3-4 hours in the gym, then I spend another 3-4, you know, just doing active recovery. It's definitely a lifestyle now. If it wasn't a lifestyle before, it is now.
You look at both guys' resumes, their last 5 fights, you got to give that advantage to Vergil just basically on output. The knock on Madrimov going into the Bud Crawford fight was he only had a handful of fights, but we all know now that Madrimov is a worthy opponent. Ortiz has overcome in the last few years a couple health scares. He has recently moved up from 47 to 54. He has found a new home at 54, which I think should have been his natural weight class all along. Las Vegas currently has this fight close to a pick'em. If you put 100 on Ortiz and he wins, you get 78 back, and if you put 100 on Madrimov to win, you double your money. I think closer to fight night, money will come in on Madrimov, which will make this a 50-50 fight. I'm not predicting it as we speak, but later on in the video, I want to hear your opinion in the comment section below, who you think is going to win. When we take both fighters side by side and look at the physical attributes, Madrimov is a few years older, but like I already said, both men are under 30. Madrimov is closer to his physical prime than Ortiz is. It's wild to think Vergil's still only 26 years old. Vergil's gonna be the taller guy. He's gonna have the slight reach advantage. He has more fights, but oddly enough, Madrimov has more rounds professionally, which is a nice little trivia question if you ask your mates. One has 23 pro fights, one has under 15, but the one under 15 has more boxing professional rounds. I think a lot of these attributes cancel out. It's going to come down to game planning and lessons learned in their last fights. It's always a sport of what have you done for me lately, and going into Vergil versus Madrimov, I think we're going to see the ghosts of Bud Crawford versus Madrimov and Boacek versus Ortiz, and I think the lessons that either fighter learned or the lessons that they didn't learn will show up in this fight. This is why fighters watch the fight tapes of their past opponents and their past fights to see where they can make adjustments. With Vergil, like I said, I think his timing is one of them. I think he should change tempo on his punches. I think he kind of got caught in that Tim Tszyu philosophy of throwing a lot of his punches at the same speed when he was fighting Boacek, and Boacek made him pay for it. So we'll see if he'll make that adjustment as well. Like I said, don't stay in the pocket as long as you want to stay in the pocket, and that's going to come down to an ego or a DNA thing like we already spoke about. With Madrimov, I think he just has to pull the trigger a bit more. He has to take a bit more risks, but the good news for him is Vergil will be there to get hit. It's going to be a fun fight. I'm super excited about this fight. On the card as we speak, I think it's 4 fights down from the main event, which is wild. So right now, before fight night, we got until February 22nd. We're all going to cross our fingers and hope that both men come in healthy and hope that both men show up on fight night due to injury. We know that Vergil in his past has had to pull out due to health scares, so we're hoping a safe fight camp. But for now, who wins this fight? Put in the comment section below. Are you going with the American? Or are you going with the Uzbek fighter? Let me know.
Подготовился, Диму Виволу помогал, и хорошо опытом набрал.
I mean, we had a good sparring. He's very good. He's athletic. He's quick. I was helping him in preparation in his fight at that time. We exchanged the experience. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Future fight, maybe? Accustomed to hitting something in front of him. I don't think Madrimov's going to be there to be hit. He's going to need more than just power and size to beat someone like Israil Madrimov.
Who's the favorite in this fight?
Oh, do you know what? I'd probably say Madrimov. Yeah, I think his stock has risen in defeat to one of the pound-for-pound greats in Terence Crawford. You know, it was a very close fight, and I think the belief he'll take from that fight will be leaps and bounds of the fight he was then.